was born in Bealey Avenue in 1925. I was fostered out for quite a few years, and the people that had me were very nice people. They had a wee shop. Well, I joined the railway in 1942 over here. Met a lot of lovely people here. First drink I had in this old hotel was in 1943. We never had much money in those days. If you had sixpence, it would buy you beer. I always had a lot of feeling for the old pub and had a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun in our day.
Some of the boys came down to put in a good word for the local vintage. Sort of cheese that goes down real well around here. Any stronger, you'd have to chain it up.
The cheese head was a great thing for us. They did 3 here, and that sort of thing, and yeah, that kind of put us on the map. Roy was a great actor, a very gentle old chap. People still come here today to take photos and all sorts of things, and we give them a card with Roy on, and myself, and that sort of thing. Key experience always came around the back road here and go down to the lake. Some of the drivers wanted to stay here. Well, I built some cabins and that. But, yeah, I call them kids. But how you doing, kids, all right? Between 18 and 25, well, we have had some old ones. We've had one old girl here, 84. All your cabins have got heaters in them, and there's a great big fire going inside to keep you warm. You've got a bit of time on your hands before tea, so get down to the lake or the beach and get some good fresh air into yourselves. Have a bloody good time and enjoy yourself. Thanks for listening to me.
Can relate to people of all age, which I think is a pretty valuable skill. You know, people love them, just that not many people who do get to interact with someone from that era and of that age, I guess.
Whereabouts there?
15.
Yeah, straight up that path over there and up the top.
Right, thank you.
Okay.
No, they think he's just a nice old fella.
Good on you.
Yep, 15.
Probably over the years he's become one of the most photographed men in New Zealand because everyone likes to get their photo taken with him and stuff.
I used to come here as a customer with friends years ago. I come and had an interview with Les and he put me on a month's trial. That was nearly 16 years ago now. Me and him have been great mates. A spade is a spade with Les. A lot of them are scared of him, which is quite funny. But he's, you know, he can be quite stern at times. It's like you play up, be an idiot in my bar, you get out. That's the way it's handled, you know. There's no mucking around.
I do me nana at times. 99% of them are great. You can get the odd one, like, you know, but still we generally straighten them out before they've gone to bed. They have a steak here. They live on noodles while they're away. They do enjoy the meal here. Yeah, well, they come in here dressed up. They have a theme. Batman tonight. Last night, I forget what it was. One other night here, one joker come dressed as a bloody tree. Oh, you should have seen the leaves. Oh, yeah, they get rowdy, all right. But still, that's what it's all about. Fun, and they do have a lot of fun too, and that sort of thing, and good people. The hospital board now send us bags of condoms. Anyway, they come up and get them and that sort of thing. It saves them a couple of dollars. They're like bloody rabbits. We used to go to a dance on a Friday night, but you didn't go on like you did today, because if you did, look out for yourself.
Sure, no problem, lads.
We seem to really get on well with them, and I like their company. I think it helps to keep my mind the way it is. Keep it as young as I possibly can.
We sort of say, Les, why don't you go and have a big cruise or go and enjoy it? But he loves it. He says, Linda, what would I do? What would I do if I retired? I can't see him retiring.
They always say to me, well, this is the best stop we've had, and we want to thank you for having us. I say to myself, I'm bloody glad you're here, and that sort of thing. They go from here to the Bushman Centre and have breakfast.
I live in the metropolis of Pukekura. Came down the west coast here on holiday. Every spare moment I got, I used to go down hunting, and I thought, this is the life for me. And I've been here for the last 35 years. I set up this business, the Bushman Centre. So we decided to specialise in wild food. For years I'd been trapping possum. You know, I'd eaten it in the past, and so we made possum part of our menu. Yeah, possum pies, we've just given them away for a donation. I met Justine back in 1996 when she walked through the door as a customer. I see thousands of people come and go. I thought, Now, this lady's different. Come on, yeah, she's been the most amazing thing that's ever come into my life, so things are still going good. She makes a mean pie.
I decided to get married on the mountain that he's climbed many, many times. And he flies helicopters, so we flew up in a helicopter and we've 7 us on the mountain. All the skins that we skinned the possums over the years, we bleached them all and I patched them all up and made this long possum wedding dress. And it was quite a hit, really. The taste is, well, I've had lots of people say different things, but it has a sort of like a lamb taste. Some people say it tastes like cat. Pukekohe is an old sawmill town, and not everyone recognises it as a town. The population of the town's 5. And we just put the eyes in, which gives the air through the pastry, and you have the possum head on the pie.
I've always wanted to fly. Justine was the one that encouraged me into going and getting my licence. Landing somewhere and switching the machine off and knowing there's been nobody else ever been in this little spot, or if there has, very few people. I think it's a hell of a privilege, and I'll keep flying as long as I can. I was born in Wellington, therefore I probably don't fit into the category of being a coaster. People think it's somebody that's been born on the coast, but I know a lot of people that have come into the place and love it the way I do. Couldn't pay me enough to go back to Wellington. I've lived in this area for 35 years. During that time, there's been numerous 1080 drops in this area. I've noticed that the bird life that used to be here is no longer here. We used to have falcons, New Zealand falcons. They used to nest right near our house. I haven't seen a falcon for years. They die from secondary poisoning. I believe 1080 is killing as much of our native bird life as it is the animals that they're targeting. I think a bounty system is a lot better. It gives you an indication of how many animals are being caught. It employs people. So I think they've got to change their ways. We won a national award for the best wild food pub in New Zealand with a dish we called chicken of the forest, which was the back legs of the possum cooked and all the fancy sauces and things that went with it. Throw that in the pot and then boil the crap out of it, and then it just falls off the bone. You know, much as people slag off the West Coast about its climate and its weather and that, the people down here are the best in the country. Because the environment's quite harsh at times, you've got to have strong people to live here. And I think when you've got strong people, you've got people with good moral character and yeah, just good people. And this is where I'm staying.
I like Reefton. It's a nice wee place. I love the small town where people know you, where they all say hi. I've got more and more attached to Reefton. It's lovely. It really is, eh? The horse, to me, is such an amazing animal. They certainly invigorate the human spirit, I think. We used to have the milk cart come along with a big draft horse in it delivering our milk, and as a child I'd be out there at the gate waiting to give it some grass. Yeah, you know, just the smell of a horse to me is just, I don't know, it's just something that's inside you. I couldn't not be involved with them. All the memories of that time come back when I start painting images, and it's kind of nice. Yeah, it's just going back in time. I started playing a brass instrument about 4 or 5 years ago, and I loved the sound. It's really cool. You feel good after you've been playing. That's what I like about it. It feels good inside.
In 1974, I became a member of the Inangahua Silver Band, been in it ever since. In the early 1870s, the Reefton Auxiliary Band formed, and Blacks Point Band even before that. And in 1901, they combined to form the Inangahua Silver Band. I think that's the love of music keeps the band together. I've known all the band members right through my life. I went to school with Lindsay. Is it 45 years for you, Lindsay?
No, 51.
51. Alison's the baby of the band. The Bonnie baby she is too. Lou's the oldest member here, and he's been in the band 76 years.
Yeah, haven't missed an Anzac Day.
Hasn't missed an Anzac Day except when he was at the war, so...
I was in the ground staff in the Air Force. I'm the last left in Reefton at the war. Yeah, that's what we're practicing for now, really. Anzac Day. Been probably my last.
No. Last year,
I was 13 years of age. I joined the Inangahua Silver Band and I played the euphonium and I've played all the other instruments. The only instrument I haven't played is a trombone, so I've had to go up the whole lot. We had a total of between 28 in the early days. It was great and it was just like a happy family. But they've all gone, but we still play at different things. Anzac Day, the band plays several hymns at the cenotaph. Lindsay, that's my son, he plays the last post there. It brings that special day to everybody in the town and they all enjoy it. Got 2 sons and 2 daughters. I taught them to play and the 4 of them played in the band. I appreciate having them. I'm bloody pleased I got them as a family.
Get out of it, boys. My older brother was in the band. I got keen when I was 9. I think I had my first contest when I was 9 years old. I remember playing that actually in Motueka. I just played in the hymn piece that day. It went quite well. I think we got second. For a small place, we had some pretty good players. We haven't played in contests for the last, well, probably 15, 20 years. Like I said, there's only 5 of us left now. We just haven't had enough players. Oh, I think we're all hoping that, you know, we might get a few more players to come to town, but like I say, the young ones aren't starting now. No, young people, there's too many other things for them to do. Like even when I was a young fella, I'd try and skive off and try not to go to band. Of course, Dad had the screws on me. You know, it's easy to give up, but I'm pleased I didn't. But it's the writing's on the wall. We can't carry on too much longer, but while we can, we will.
Oh, you've been talking to Rhonda?
Yeah, she rang this morning.
Your dad's still going, so while he's going, I'll keep going.
It's been going for all those years in the same hall. It gave service to the whole community. We're still there. We still have a lot of fun playing.
See you, Lou. Okay. Yeah, see you, Dad. Okay. See you next week.
Well, I was born in Wataroa. This time, yeah, the coast is, I think it's a good life. I mean, I've 82 and I've enjoyed every bit of it. Yeah, I'd never leave the coast. Yeah, I've sort of done just about everything. There's nothing much I didn't have a go at. Loved shooting, possum hunting, whitebaiting. The rivers were just tons of whitebait. We just caught so much. One season I averaged 9 buckets a day for about a fortnight. Straight out of the river, beautiful. Whitebaiting was our income.
We microwaved them once to see what they'd be like. So we put them in the paddies and they played in the microwave. And the poor whitebait stood straight up like that. A lot of them.
They were looking at us.
It was quite funny, wasn't it? Cruel.
That was quite cruel.
Yeah.
You come down from Greymouth. I worked for your father. That's how I met you. Your father brought you down to clean that batch out. And
I come over to borrow a broom.
Yeah, you come over to borrow a broom and I sort of took a fancy to you and that's how it all started.
Mm.
Went from there to there and...
Yeah, he asked me out to go to the glowworms. Yeah, they're still there, I think, aren't they, at Fox, the glowworms?
Oh, yeah. I worked on the beach down here. That's where I started doing gold. But I done gold years ago with my father. I was only a young fella. These are things that catch the gold.
Isn't it funny how he can put that on perfect yet can't make a bed? Yeah, we don't argue, do we?
No.
There's not a winner.
There's no fun in that.
You know, we don't argue much at all.
No, very little.
No.
I can take my earphones out.
That's what he does. He's got selective hearing. Your turn?
No, you're doing good.
No, your turn now. I've had my turn.
Oh, yeah. Doing this, I've seen her do this in whitebait with my dad, but I loved it. And I haven't stopped doing it since then. I just loved doing that. I had one fantastic day. I got 8 ounces.
There's a wee bit along there, but not much, eh? See along here? Along there.
Could be your turn. You put some in.
Oh, he's got a great nature. He's been a good husband. Pretty strong, pretty tough.
Oh, she's got a lot of good points. You know, I won't falter. You've always been pretty good.
Have I?
Yeah. If I run her down, she mightn't cook me tea. I think once you're a coaster, always a coaster.
It's hard to explain, but it's home. Out there on the riverbed, watching the little shoals of whitebait go up into me net. That would be my perfect day. I think once you've lived here, you don't want to live anywhere else.
No, you'd never leave the coast.
I live in Hokitika on the west coast. I was born in Melbourne to a 14-year-old unwed mother. Went to Sydney to live with grandparents and ended up in King's Cross at about 13. Got to New Zealand by the time I was 19. The coast people are tolerant, caring, and I think that's why a lot of quirky people like me, I guess, end up here, because you can be an individual on the west coast. I don't like bigots, and that's pretty obvious, being who I am or what I am. I knew I was different from a very early age in my case. Everything was illegal back in my day. It was illegal for a male to be dressed as a female, and they'd throw you in jail and all the rest of it in Australia. So a whole group of us came to New Zealand about 1965. We sort of fled from Sydney and came over here where there was no legal ramifications for us. It was illegal to be homosexual, but it wasn't illegal to be what we called ourselves in those days, drag queens. When I had my surgery, it was in the early 70s. The surgeon's name was Mr. Hackett, go figure. Rotorua, that was his name. I love telling people that. Ended up on the west coast in 1980. I had a small dairy farm and a partner, and he was a bit older than me, but we were together for about 20-odd years. And all the local women were spinning and knitting and doing all that crafty country stuff, so I started going along to the spinning groups and things like that, and I got quite good at it. And hobbies, when you get out of control with a hobby, you're really out of control. And I bought a wool carding machine, and so then it turned into a shop and a museum, and on it's gone. I got interested in machine knitting because I couldn't do the hand knitting, I just never got it. And I started knitting sweaters and selling them in a craft shop down in Harry. A lady there, Nolly Martini, she had a strange-looking knitting machine, which I brought home with me and I've still got. It turned out to be my first sock machine, and I was fascinated with this thing and I got it working. I managed to be able to knit on them. I worked it out from the instruction book. I was absolutely fascinated, and goodness knows why. I started collecting them and buying them up around the country, and it was quite amazing. I'd pick up machines out of people's sheds. I think I've got around 200 sock machines now. The Boer War, they'd be knitting socks for soldiers in castles in Scotland, and there'd be 500 women all on one of these hand-crank sock machines. That's how they were done. And people's minds boggle when you say, well, the very first machine was made in 1540. Gradually, they got up to the machines that are chain-driven and pattern-driven, and I used those in the shop. Old vintage commercial machines. They are really very early computers. You've got the program, which is on the chain, and the pattern, which is on the drum. And they all have to be timed impeccably or they don't work. I was always reasonably mechanical, I guess, and anything to do with machinery, or I could fix the tractor or the car or any of that crap and got them going. You can make socks in about a minute and a half per sock, which is really slow on today's industrial standards. Today, they're all enclosed and they'll spit a sock out every few seconds into a basket. That doesn't interest me at all. I like the mechanical part of it. I love it. It's fabulous. I'd been doing up machines for a year or two, and I found there were other people interested in them, and I was doing them up and selling them to Americans. And then thought, well, why can't we just make new machines and model them on one of the older ones? 7 years ago now I started making them. We're now on our 4th or 5th model. I don't know, we must have sold a couple of thousand machines. And we're away. I go to the States once or twice a year, and I go to the Circular Sock Knitting Machine Conference. Yeah, there is a conference. The Circular Sock Machine Society of America. People come from all over the world to it. Last year I did 16,000 miles driving around the States, running classes each weekend, workshops and things like that. It's good. It's good fun. 1,600 kilometres of someone reading every single road sign out loud.
Did not. Only the funny ones had, what was it, 23rd and 3/4 Street or something. I annoy the hell out of
Give me a break.
No, we've been friends for donkey's ages. And I come in here to torment her.
It works.
I know.
We got oil?
16,000 kilometres in a rental car. Stayed at a few crummy motels and...
Selma and Louise, yeah.
Ena and Minnie.
The person that was running the conference was an extremely serious type of girl.
We had a bit of fun at the dinner, didn't we?
We introduced a bit of levity to it, which included her boyfriend, unfortunately.
Oh, yeah, she wasn't happy about that. Oh, no, they won't forget Jackie.
When I started the shop in Hokitika, it was a bit of a joke at first. How's she ever going to make any money out of just selling socks? But it's absolutely amazing. People get really excited about socks. Yeah, people are really fussy about what socks they wear. And they'll pay $50, $60 for a pair of possum socks and not think twice about it. It's really interesting.
Jackie's got a heart of gold.
No, I'm an arsehole.
She'd give you the shirt off her back if she thought you needed it more than her.
No, I wouldn't.
She'd help anyone out.
No, I wouldn't. Don't want my reputation ruined.
And she can be an absolute bitch.
That's better. Thank you.
Oh,
I'm an arsehole. It's taken me years to perfect it.
Well, you haven't done a very good job. How many rows have I done?
Living on the West Coast, I think, is a way of life, and I think I've been here for 32 years now. I understand it's about 35-year apprenticeship. I guess in another 3 years I'll declare that I am actually a coaster. Coffee, please.
How are you?
Good. Even though I wasn't born here, it's the place I feel the most comfortable. A lot of people want to go back to where they were born. To me, my rebirth happened on the West Coast. The place that I want to spend the rest of my life at. I don't know whether I'd really call us oddball, but the coast's full of people who are a little bit different and are accepted.
He's been a good husband.
Pretty sharp, eh?
Don't know about that.
Yeah.
I just love being here and I appreciate being here. I'm connected to this place, so that's been a blessing for me.
You've got to keep the mind active. Still practice and I still play.
A lot of lovely people here and that sort of thing.
People here have got a different sort of attitude to life. I'm wrapped with it.